Adrian Yanez, your second fight in the UFC next weekend. How are things around about 1 week out?
Oh man, I'm just ready to go. Honestly, I'm ready to step in that cage already. It's this is gonna be the longest week ever because I've been training for so long that I just want to be in there already, man. I've had Gustavo's face like in my head for the longest time, and like since November the fight was signed.
Yeah.
So I've had that long just to kind of think about like one opponent, March 20th. I'm just ready to go in there, get it over with, put him to sleep, and then after that, just go on about my merry day and get another fight in.
Are you somebody, this isn't particularly easy information to find, but are you somebody who struggles with nerves before fights? Because having the fight booked for so long, if you were, it might be a worry.
Not really. Honestly, like in my last couple fights, like I've walked in just like very happy.
Yeah.
I've like not really no nerves because like I'm fighting in the biggest organization like in the world. UFC, bar none, biggest organization, biggest promotion, best fighters and everything. So it's one of those things that like I'm happy. Like I'm here. I get to show off my skills. Like I'm at the top I'm at the top of the food chain when it comes to fighting. So it's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, there's no nerves. It's just me just being happy because I'm like, damn, like this is just pretty freaking awesome. So I get to live my dream every single time I step in that cage. So it's not even me being nervous or anything. It's just me being happy.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go in there.
And let's talk a little bit about your last couple of fights, because I would say 2020 was probably the best year in your career. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, especially with all the especially with all the accolations. It was pretty badass.
Yeah. So you got your Contender Series win, first round knockout, and then you got your first UFC win with a first round knockout. Did you expect things to go as well as they have done in this early UFC career?
And I honestly, it took me by surprise. Honestly, I knew that I was gonna be able to. I knew I was gonna be able to knock out my opponent in the Contender Series like that. That one, I didn't expect it to go the way it did. I thought it was gonna go a little bit longer. I thought there's gonna be a little bit more to show. But when the opening was there, I just ripped at it, and I just knew that if any chance was gonna be open, it was that chance, and I just wasn't gonna let it slip away from me. So like, whenever I landed it, and I saw him like him drop the first time, I had a little bit of a pause because I was just like, "Oh shit, it's happening!" And then I followed up with the next ones, and it was a real surreal moment. And then like getting my UFC debut and going in there, I was super happy, just super relaxed, just walking in. And then I see the openings right off the bat, and the way it finished, I couldn't have written it any better because I've always wanted a head kick knockout. I've had punch knockouts and everything, but getting the kick one to me was something like that I've always wanted. So whenever I got it that way, that it felt amazing. And for everything to kind of go how it did last year, the COVID stuff and everything shutting everything down, last year was a really good year for me, and I hope to keep that rolling.
In that UFC debut, you were catching him a little bit with the hands early, and then I think what you get it was the lead high kick, if memory serves, wasn't it, off the front leg?
Yeah, it was a front leg, but I switched my stance, so I made my front leg the power leg.
Yeah.
So whenever I hit him with the shots, I was kind of walking him down, and then I cut off the cage by switching that stance, and then he just kind of just ran into it and just it was there, and I was like I've always told myself when you see people run away, I was like I'm always thinking throw the kick because you might not be able to touch with the hands, but your legs have a little bit more reach. And in that moment, that was my instinct. Just throw it. And I launched it and it caught him. And I was like, all right, cool. This is good. And then just to see him fall. And I was just like, I just knew it was done. I was like, all right, cool. This is perfect.
What does that feel like, especially your first UFC win? What does it feel like to get a walk-off knockout like that?
Man, I immediately just knew who I wanted to go see first. After I saw him hit the floor, I just walked over to Dana White, just automatically started asking for the 50K. I was like, "Hey, how's that feel?" And then he was like, do I get it?" And he just looked at me and just was like, "Hey, yeah." And I walked over to my corner and I was telling them, well, like, "Hey, what did I call? What did I call?" And pretty much that was it. But it was pretty. It was like it was so cool because I always told myself like, man, if I get a knockout, I'm like doing the money sign. I'm trying all I can to do trying to do all I can to get the 50 G's.
Because you see some fighters maybe get a come from behind or a competitive third round knockout. Yours definitely deserved that 50 grand bonus.
Oh yeah, man. It wasn't competitive at all. It was just a kind of like a one round, just like me just toying with them and then finishing them. So it was fun.
And let's move a little bit from the past to the future. So next week on the 20th of March, you will face Gustavo Lopez in your second UFC fight. How do you view Lopez as an upcoming opponent? What is your view on his style?
And he's tough. That's the biggest thing is like, to me, he's super, super tough. You know, he's had a lot of tough fights and everything, but the man can take a shot. Like when he fought Jose Aldo, he got dropped in that fight a couple times and still came up and kept on fighting. You know, he's gritty. He likes to pressure. He likes to come forward. But with that comes a lot of opportunity for counters, a lot of opportunity for me to catch him on the way in. There's a lot of opportunities because I feel like he just moves straight in and straight back. And me just like been watching him, I just looking, I was like, his style, his style is he's gonna want to try to blitz in and take me down. But I've seen that style so many times already that it's like already in my head to know what to do. It's already engraved in my head what I'm gonna do anyways. But I feel like it's just a perfect style for me just because of the way he fights. He's a shorter fighter. I have the reach on him. I have the power. I do have power. He has power as well, but he's gonna be looking to land that one shot. Just like I seen him in past fights. He just loads up, tries to get that one shot knockout. But you have to be careful about it because he can be sneaky too, but he's gonna be looking for the power shot, and if he doesn't get the power shot, he's shooting in for the double. And there's a lot of openings that I see whenever he's in that midst of trying to look for that power shot, trying to put people to sleep. I see it, and it to me like in the cage, everything slows down. Like they're not as fast as what they are and on camera and everything. So I seen how fast he is on the YouTube whenever I'm searching up some of his fights or whenever he fought Anthony Burchak. I was looking, I was like, if that's his fast, then I feel sorry for him because man, I pinpoint, you know, I don't consider myself a fast fighter like with the hands. I just know I like to be precise and be accurate. And if he comes in wild like that, it's gonna leave a lot of openings and it's gonna leave him face flat on the mat. And I saw somewhere where he was saying that he was going to try to drown me. He's going to take me down and drown me and Khabib me and all that stuff. Like, all right, cool. You can try. You can absolutely try, but I've had better wrestlers trying to take me down and they couldn't. So you can try all you want. You know, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to front kick you in the face. I'm going to side kick you. I'm going to do all the stuff I want to do, man. So, man, he can bring it, man. I'm just ready. I'm just ready, man. I just really want to go already.
Gustavo, as I said to you earlier, I spoke to Gustavo and he was very complimentary about your striking. But one thing he told me was that he couldn't find much tape on you on the ground. What would your response be to people who are perhaps doubting or are unaware of your skill set on the mat?
Man, I started off in jiu-jitsu. That's where I started off. Like, it wasn't the striking that got me into mixed martial arts. It was the jiu-jitsu. I started off literally from the ground up. I started off in the guard, worked half guard, worked side control. I started all that before I even started striking. So it just happens to be that I just really love striking. I love knocking people out. But man, we're grappling a lot, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like for me, I've been grappling since like 14, 15. I never really stopped, you know, got my black belt just this past December. You know, it's been like 12, almost 13 years for me to get it. And man, like if people want to, how can I say, if they want to downgrade my jiu-jitsu or my ground game, then, you know, hey, I'm more than welcome to show it, but I'm gonna show it whenever I want to. I'm not gonna let him just take me down because, you know, a takedown gets points against the judges. And legitimately, I've had fights where I've lost, where the guys, they just like take me down and just hold me because they can't do anything. Like they like legitimately, like nobody can really do anything. I don't give up anything. And man, from just knowing, like I know how good I am on the ground. Just I don't want to show it. Like I really don't want to show it because I like getting the 50K bonus. I love knocking people out. Like that's the thing for me, is like everybody can remember a submission, but like everybody's gonna really remember that knockout.
Yeah.
Everybody always remembers the knockdown. So that's the way I think. I just want to go in there and knock people out. And every time you get taken down, it's points to the judge. If I defend it, still like it's still leaning towards the person who took the shot. But for me, it's like if I stuff his shot, he gets tired. I go in there, I just put the hands on him and knock him out. Like that's my thought process. Because I don't want to get taken down. Then all of a sudden they score a little bit of points here and there, and then these people, what they do is they just try to hold you on the ground. They try to score that many points. Like yeah, man, I literally almost saw it this last weekend when some of my training partners fought. One of my training partners was stuffing all the takedowns, but he was landing more damage. But he was on his back was against the fence, and he's just stuffing all the takedowns. The guy did no damage whatsoever, and he's riding on the leg. He's getting hammer fisted in the face, and my training partner is just hammer fisting him in the face, punching him, doing whatever he could, But the other guy was like had him just pinned up, and whenever they broke apart, my training partner would go out there and land some shots, like land some heavy shots, like drop them, just for that guy to get back up and tangle up a leg and put him against the fence. He finished him in the last round, but whenever like it was like 5 seconds left and he finished him, but whenever they got the scorecards, he was losing on every single one of the judges' scorecards. So I'm not trying to put myself in any of that position right there. I might be doing damage, I might be doing all of that, but I don't want that. Like I don't want that happening to me. So I want finishes, and I like definitely don't want to get be put just to be stalled out and be stalled out of a lot, like and lose just because someone's stalling out. So that's another thing that's always in my head is like, man, it's like most of these guys are just gonna take you down and hold you. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna stay standing because like as soon as you try to open up your legs, they're just gonna clamp down. You trying to work submissions, they're just gonna clamp down, which they're supposed to do, but it's just one of those things that it's not gonna work out for you very well.
That was something I wanted to touch on a little bit. So, of your 3 losses in MMA, your last 2 have been split decisions. With that being said, have them very close decision losses taught you a lesson that you maybe want to seek the finish, you maybe don't want to leave it in the hands of the judges?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another thing that rolls into my thought process all the time. I've lost close split decisions where like I said, like I've done the more damage.
Yeah.
The only difference was the like sometimes the cage control, maybe a takedown or two. So to me, looking at that, I'm like, well, like this is another big reason why my thought process is like that. I'm like, I'm not letting anybody take it down. Like I'm not going to show anybody. I don't want to be on my back because a lot of times you're on your back to the judges, that's losing. And a lot of these judges are kind of idiots. They don't know what they're looking at. So I can be working on the bottom, like looking for all these submissions, but the other guy's just stalling out, not landing no damage, but I'm doing the damage on the bottom. The other judge is going to look at that and be like, oh, well, the other guy's on top, he's winning. Well, not necessarily. You got to see what's going on. But no, that's another big reason why, like, I'm not like I don't want to go to the judges. I want to finish every single time. And whenever I fight Gustavo, I have a feeling that he's going to want to try to ride out a decision. And me, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to stop him before that last bell rings, and I'm going to get another 50K.
And speaking a little bit about the upcoming matchup, you've both had 1 win and 1 finish in the UFC. Is this a little bit like a prospect versus prospect match in your eyes, where whoever wins takes a big step forward up the division?
I would believe so. Both of our wins, I wouldn't say are counted very high. I think he was welcoming Anthony Burchak into the UFC. I was welcoming Victor Rodriguez into the UFC. So we're kind of both in the in that realm of like we're still the new kids on the block right now. Right now we're both freshmen still fighting. We're trying to be on the A team right now on the football squad. So that's legitimately where we're at every single time. And with Gustavo, he's already fought a senior. He fought somebody who was already in top 15 on a 6 days notice and did as best as he could. Like he made it rough for Merab to not finish him. Like he went all three, and for Merab not to finish him in the top 15, that speaks volumes. And I look at that and I respect that. But also, the guy is wrestling heavy, doesn't have like his hands, I don't think are as good as mine. And if anything, and whenever I'm looking at it, is like if I finish Gustavo and I do it very quickly, that catapults me up there with those guys. So that's exactly what I want to do. I want to go out there, stop Gustavo. I'm not going to be looking for the finish, but if it shows itself, damn right I'm going to take it. I want to pitch a perfect game, but if it's there, I'm taking it.
Of course. And you are quite a highly touted prospect in this bantamweight division. I think that's fair to say. Does that come with any added pressure at all? And if so, how do you deal with that pressure?
Man, it really doesn't give me any type of pressure, man. I do like the being able to like talk to people and being able to like everybody like saying like, oh, let's go, Yanez. That to me is pretty cool. But it doesn't add any pressure to me because I'm always in my thought process like it's me who steps in the cage. Like nobody else is stepping in the cage but me. So for me, I'm really always zenned out whenever I go into the cage. It never adds any pressure on me. I don't think about the circumstances or anything like that. So it's just me just going into the fight and me loving being able to like step into and get into a fight. So it's super exciting to me, man. Like, and it's also like when you get out the cage, and you get to like see the people who are rooting for you and everything. That's the cool part. That's probably the coolest part is after you win. But before it, I just block it all out. Like I don't pay no attention to it. I see that I'm a favorite, and that's pretty cool that I'm a favorite and everything. But I pay no mind to it, man. It's just one of those things that like I had to do a lot of blocking out of a lot of things because you don't want to get lost in the sauce, man. You're not trying to make the Kool-Aid and drink it too, so it's like you want to be the guy that like always stays like has the underdog mentality, always coming in to prove something. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm always going to try to prove my point and prove to myself that like I like right now I'm trying to prove the point that I belong in the UFC. Like this guy has a win in the UFC, I have a win in the UFC. I'm trying to prove a point. Another point that I'm be able to prove is that as soon as I finish him, like that, what does that say about me? Merab couldn't finish him on 6 day notice, but I finished him on a full like 3-month, almost 4-month training camp. So to me, it would make big statements. So that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, superb. And let's talk a little bit about the future. So as we mentioned, 2020 was a great year for your career. We've got this fight booked for next weekend. What are the goals for the rest of 2021? What do you have in mind to accomplish? Do you have an opponent you would like to face? Do you have a specific arena? Anything of the sort? What do you want to accomplish?
Man, I definitely want to fight 4 to 5 times this year. 4 to 5 times. Stay very active. But the next guy who I would want to fight, he called me out a day before my birthday, and I thought that was actually absolutely perfect. But it kind of sucked that I had already signed to fight Gustavo before he called me out. So it's kind of one of those things. Like, but for me, I would like to fight that guy Nate Maness. I don't know how to say his last name, but he called me out. I think November 28th. It was my birthday, and I was like super like I was like super like, all right, let's do this, let's go. And then my manager calls me and be like, oh, he called you out. He's like, but we already signed to fight Gustavo. I was like, oh, damn, okay. I was like, all right, cool. So he can get it afterwards. So right now, after Gustavo, I definitely want to fight Nate Maness, however you say his name. Yeah, that's the guy who I want on the horizon. After that, I don't really care who I fight.
So you want Nate. Is it? I think it's Maness. I always pronounced it as Maness. It might be Maines. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, Manus Mains or something, man. It's one of those. Everybody's probably gonna know who I'm talking about, like, because I think Chabelo might have messed up a couple of times and called him my anus or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the same guy, but close.
Yeah, superb. So we've got Gustavo this weekend. We've got Nate Maness, maybe summer, autumn time, and then perhaps maybe pushing for a ranking at the end of the year if all goes well.
Oh yeah, man. If I go undefeated and I got all stoppages, then yeah, that's absolutely. But also I don't mind working up. I don't mind working up. Like I don't mind having 8 fights either. Like 8 fights to get a ranking or anything like that, man. Just look how long it took Max Holloway for him to go on a win streak to even get a title shot. Look at Tony Ferguson, how long it took for him to get a freaking title shot. So to me, I'm just looking at it like I don't mind being a workhorse just because like at the end of the day, whenever I do get into those rankings, I'm gonna be making more money anyways. So that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, superb. Now, final question, Adrian. I know you are very busy. Give me a prediction for next week. What happens with your fight against Gustavo
Oh
Lopez?
yeah, first round KO, man. First round KO. I'm gonna get him, man. He leaves a lot of openings, and I'm gonna expose that. And whenever I do, man, he's gonna be face flat on the ground, and I'm gonna be walking around with my hands up, saying 50 G's.
So you're going to try and continue your first round knockout streak under Zuffa?
Oh, absolutely. I want the most consecutive bonuses. I want that record. I want that record, the most consecutive. Not win one now and then win one like 2 fights later. No, I want the streak. I want a streak of that. So that would be amazing for me. That's exactly what I want.
Do you know who holds the record for that? Because I would presume it would be Gaethje.
Man, I think it's him. I really think it's him. But I don't want fight of the nights either. I want performance of the nights. I think that makes the biggest difference to me. Like the fight night would be cool, but at the same time, the performance of the night where you just going in there and you march them down, you knock them out, you walk out with the extra 50 G's on top of that. So I think to me that would be really cool. You just going in there, starching these guys and walking out with 50 G's richer. So to me, that's exactly what I would want to do. I don't want to fight of the night, get busted up too. So I'd rather it just be a knockout of the night.
A knockout of the night is good for you and good for the promotion. A fight of the night is better for the promotion and probably worse for yourself long term.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'd rather keep it just more on my side.
Yeah, superb. Well, it's a fantastic fight, and I very much look forward to your return and your fight against Gustavo Lopez.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for your
Superb.
time.
Thank you very much for your time. Before we finish, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at Yanez MMA on Twitter, Adrian Yanez 93 on Instagram. You can friend me on Facebook, Adrian Yanez. Also, I got an MMA page, Adrian Yanez MMA, and I just recently just made a website, so they can find me at yanezmma.com too. So, trying to get a lot of things in line so I can be able to do a little bit more, try to make it one place shop where everybody can see what I'm doing or learn more about me. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, go ahead, hit them all up.
Superb. And before we finish, is there anything you would like to say or sign off with at all?
Oh man, just thank you to everybody who's tuning in, man. Just tune in March 20th. We're gonna have a show.
I very much think we are, Adrian. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you, man.